So, yeah. So, introduction. So, as I already stated, the main purpose of this presentation is to kind of, focus on how, as a church, we can enhance our live stream offerings for our members at home and also help develop skills within our team members. So, if I go on to the next slide, a bit about myself. So, as Pastor Joe introduced, I'm Caleb. I am recently employed by the conference back in August as a full-time media and broadcast technician. My local church is Wolverhampton Central. My background is within visuals and cameras, so that's where I started off. And I studied it at sixth form, but then I went to uni to study marketing. And then at a lockdown, obviously, lockdown happened, and then my local church started live streaming. And from there, I've been able to go on and work in the world of production. I was working in production for 2 years, and then so I get working across the country doing lots of live events. And then back in August, part of the conference's XCOM strategy, I was employed to be a full-time media and broadcast technician. So again, I've been on the church media team for more than 10 years now. So I've been on it from I'm more than seasoned. So again, I hope that I'm able to impart some of the knowledge that I've learned to you guys, and obviously hoping that you guys are able to, gain from this as well. So the first point is, why should churches be looking to enhance their live streams? So I've outlined a couple benefits. I think the first one is wider outreach. I think, again, coming out of lockdown, a lot of churches have struggled to see members come back in person, again, for a variety of different reasons. Maybe people can't commit to, maybe people are still a bit wary. And again, it's about, as local churches and media leaders, how are we able to reach the people that aren't able to make it in person? So it's about reaching beyond the physical congregation to go about fostering community and faith. The second point is enhance engagement. I think, okay, we make live stream as a church, but then it's also about how do we create a more immersive and interactive virtual experience?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a thing of, so for us, it's the thing of like, how do we, okay, we may live stream, but how do we actually intentionally offer a good worship experience? Because again, that's something that we need to be key with, that while we may just be putting a camera on YouTube or on Facebook, showing to the world, we're actually offering a worship experience. So we want to be very intentional about how we offer that service out to people so that the people at home can get the same experience as they do in church. And then again, accessibility for all is about making it accessible for people who can't attend in person due to distance, health, or other reasons. It's also a tool. I think it's enhancing our church life. It also allows us a tool bridging the physical and the virtual congregation together. Because a lot of times it may seem as one is separate from the other. And I think that's where a lot of times we go wrong. So it's about enabling seamless communication and spiritual connection so that the people, so again, it's the live audience and the physical live stream audience and the physical audience. I've not just seen as two separate audiences, but they are seen as the whole church congregation. And then obviously, as I said, meeting challenges of COVID, and then obviously reach a broader demographic. Now, we're moving to a very much more digital society. Again, a lot of people are a lot more tech savvy. So it's about, again, reaching out to those people who are more technically savvy. And it's also about being able to offer something that, because again, we have to understand that we are now in a day and age where, again, what worked many years ago may not work the same today. So it's about implementing those things that we're able to future-proof the ministry that we do and also connect with that younger generation. So what are the key components of a good live stream? So I believe there's three key components. It's video quality, audio quality, and engagement features. I think those three bundle together and make a very good live stream experience. And one is not more important than the other. They're all working tandem with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some of the benefits as to why these things are so important to what we do. So video quality.
Caleb, I'm sorry to disturb you. Are your slides moving?
Yes, can you not see them?
Mine, unless it's my particular device, but mine aren't moving.
I was gonna say the same thing as well.
Okay. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Apologies regarding that. Okay, let's start that again. Give me a second, guys. Let me. Are you able to see my screen now, or is it still saying it won't share? Keith?
Currently black.
A black screen.
Yeah,
On the
mine's
black-
empty as well.
Okay, let's try it another way. Apologies about this. Let me download it instead. How about now?
Yep, perfect.
Really?
Yep, that's perfect.
About it. Yep.
Really. So apologies about that. So if I go back to the start of my presentation. So yeah, so as I was saying, so as I went through earlier, so the benefits of enhancing our church's live stream. So it's again wider outreach, reaching beyond the physical congregation to a global audience, and fostering community and faith, enhanced engagement, creating a more immersive experience, accessibility, ensuring that it's accessible to all. Use it as a tool to bridge between the physical and the virtual congregation. Again, meeting the challenges head on, addressing COVID, demonstrating resilience and adaptability through technology, and then attracting a younger techie audience, and then also connecting with the next generation and future-proofing the ministry that we offer. So, as I stated, 3 components of a good live stream, in my opinion, are video quality, audio quality, and enhanced engagement features. So, as I started explaining, for video quality, I believe that there are 4 kind of areas that I want to look over. So enhanced engagement. So high quality video that keeps viewers engaged and attentive. I think one thing that, again, coming from a background in working in media production and film, is that I know, again, how something looks tends to keep people engaged. And a lot of the times is that if people don't watch something and say, maybe the video quality isn't as good as it should be, then a lot of time people tend to not pay attention to what's going on screen, because again, they are distracted of what's being seen on screen. There's too many things going on. So it means that they're not really taking in the offering that you are showcasing them. Because again, your content may be good, but because they aren't able to, the visually doesn't look as pleasing to the eye, it tends to put people on. And I think that then also leads on to professionalism. I think having good video quality shows a level of professionalism in what we do. And I think it goes back to a thing of like, when we do the things that we do, we have to remember that we apply the same amount of professionalism to what we do as we would to do our job. And I think, again, if people can see that we are taking what we do seriously and not just say, because we can live stream, we're going to live stream, we actually, okay, cool. Here's how we're going to do, what standard of quality do we want to offer. again, it builds that trust with the audience, because then as an audience, they can say, okay, these guys take what they do seriously. They take their craft seriously, and they take their ministry seriously. I mean, it's also about accessibility. Again, it makes it more clear people who may not come to the church. So again, the people that you're trying to reach to outside of the local church congregation, you see that, okay, cool, like, I like this audience, because again, they can kind of see, oh, these guys are keeping up with the modern age, and it allows our offering to be more wider and diverse in what we're doing. And then finally, it's competitive advantage. Now, the reason I put competitive advantage is this, not necessarily within churches in our own denomination, is that we're also dealing with people from different faith backgrounds, people out there. And it's about the digital space is very crowded. And as a church, we need to find ways to be able to stand out. So, because again, at the end of the day, there are so many things that are trying to capture people's attention. And with new evangelistic technology such as AI and or various other technological advancements, it's struggling to, it means that we're having to fight with so many things to keep the attention of people. So I think those four things are very key when it comes to enhancing the quality of our live streams. Audio quality. Now, the significance of audio quality, I think, is very clear. There's a saying that I was taught at school, and it's that people hear first before they see. Now, as much as video quality plays a part, I think audio quality is also extremely key, because sometimes people can put up with something not being as visually as good if it sounds clear and crisp. And I think as a media department, audio needs to be something that we take very seriously as what we do, because I think if we can keep people attended by what they're listening, again, a lot of times the messages that we're trying to offer. So having audio that is clear and concise allows the messages to be heard and felt, and it also happens to foster a sense of presence for both the online and in-person congregation. Now, as I said, when factoring in again, like, when you're live streaming online, it's a thing of like, okay, cool. The people, you may think, okay, in-house, you're trying to sort everything out, but it's also, you got to factor in that, okay, you also got to remember the people at home are also watching, and they also want to feel the same experience that they're having in church, because in church it may be a great experience, but because online the audio quality isn't where it needs to be, it makes it very difficult for people to kind of pay attention, and then they end up, their attention span tends to go, and then they'll go somewhere else to find what they're looking for. And then engagement features. I think engagement is extremely key. I think, as I kind of stated earlier, we may just live stream, but it's like, how do we keep our audience engaged? How do we foster connection and community building? How do we increase participation? How do we enhance our communication? How do we get feedback and insights? And I think those sort of things allow us to be able to, again, cater to the needs of the online audience, because again, they may have things that they may be going through, they may have needs that they want. And it's about ensuring that we put things in place to allow the audience online to be able to get the blessing and get the learning and the understanding that they are seeking for online. Because again, if we increase these engagement features, it helps facilitate outreach, it enhances spiritual growth, and it allows us to be adaptable and flexible within what we're doing and saying. And I think when we do that, I think we're able to really hone in on how we work as a department, because I think a lot of the time, we're just seen as the guys that come on the Sabbath every single week, pull up a fader, pull down a fader, press next on the slide. But really, we can be so much more than that. And I think if we are able to hone in on those things, I think we're able to really drive forward in what we're doing. So I'm gonna go into some practical tools and look at some of the things that I believe can really help you guys. And again, this is just some things that what I want to do at the end as well is take time to answer some of your guys' questions. Because again, I think I'm going through my presentation fairly fast, but I want to take time to answer some of the questions that you may have, and also just get to know kind of where you guys are at when it comes to live streaming, and maybe, and again, make it an open forum discussion where we can discuss between ourselves how maybe things that you guys have learned that you could pass on to other members. So first thing is cameras. So as I said, with video quality, it's also about the type of equipment that we use. So a lot of the time people say, okay, I don't know what camera to buy, I don't know where to begin. Now, these are just some examples, Because again, I could tell you go get a webcam, but the webcam isn't really gonna, a webcam is good, but is that really going to enhance your offering online? So what I've done is put some recommendations of some cameras that I personally used and interacted with. And again, these are ranging, they're fairly different price points. And I understand that, some things may be more expensive than others, and then some may be more. And I think it's a thing of like, but these are just some cameras that I personally wear and that I would recommend that you as a church invest in and immediately invest. Because again, I want you to see these things. Don't think, okay, this is just this is expensive. Think of it as an investment. Investing in your ministry, investing in your craft as a department. So the first one is a PTZ camera. A PTZ camera is a point, tilt, and zoom. That's what it stands for, PTZ. And these are singular cameras that can be remote controlled over via Ethernet or via a network. These are very good for churches that may not have the manpower to be able to have, again, a full multi-cam production, but still want to have that same immersive offer that same immersive experience. So the two that I recommend are PTZ Optics. PTZ Optics are a great brand. They are based in America, but obviously they ship worldwide, and they have a different range to come. So you have 12 times zoom, 30 times zoom, and these can be, again, you can mount these pretty much anywhere within your church. Because again, it's also your church lacks space. It also allows you to place these cameras in place that may not be distracted to the eye. Because again, I know sometimes people may be camera shy. So having a PTZ that allows you to place these cameras, maybe you want to put it on the ceiling or maybe put it on the side wall, so that it's out of the way and it's not distracting the congregation in church congregation and what's going on. So the PTZ obviously is a great one. If you're looking for something slightly more cheaper, the Ada imaging is a fairly small camera, not too big, not too small, but it's a fairly small camera, but it offers great image quality, and it's fairly inexpensive. And again, similar to the PTZ, you can mount these maybe in the far corner of the wall. It doesn't necessarily have the same capability as your pan, tilt, and zoom, but it still offers the same immersive experience of a good image quality. Now, if you're looking for more traditional camera routes, you can go for the Canon XA11, and the Canon XA11 is a camcorder that has a built-in XLR. So again, if you want to feed your audio from the cameras or into your cameras, you can do that. But it's and it has a built-in zoom. So this is a great camcorder if you're looking for something. The Canon M50 is a great DSLR. If I can I have one right in front of me now. If you guys can see it. Give me 2 seconds. Can you guys see this at all?
I think you have to stop sharing your screen so that we
Yeah.
can see it.
So yeah, see where my camera is. So yeah. So this is the Canon M50. Support small DSLR camera. Again, takes micro HDMI out. So again, it allows you to plug into any switch that you may have. But this is a great budget-friendly DSLR if you're looking to go for the more traditional camera route. And again, this offers the same image quality good image quality depending on the lens that you get. But again, if you're looking for something that's a DSLR traditional camera that's fairly inexpensive, this is a good option. When I say fairly inexpensive, in comparison to your traditional cameras, but this is a fairly good piece of equipment. With this as well, something that we utilize at my church is that we're able to use this to get over content as well, which I think is something as a department for your live streams you should also be looking to do. So we're able to utilize this camera during the service to be able to use throughout content, maybe on to use throughout the week. So it's a very good nifty piece of gear to be able to take around, and be able to utilize it various different ways, even if you just don't want to live stream. So it's a great piece of equipment to do that. So yeah, if I go back to sharing my screen again. Now again, then finally is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. At the conference, this is what we use Blackmagic products and Blackmagic infrastructure. I know a lot of churches are investing in Blackmagic infrastructure products. So again, the likes of the ATEM, various different things. Again, this is more on if you're trying to go for the extra mile and obviously go for the extra image quality and you got the budget to play with, the Blackmagic cameras are a very good affordable price within that price range. to be able to go for from an equipment standpoint. I want to caveat with something that's very important. Your lens choice is very key when purchasing these cameras because because the camera is just a camera body, but also the type of lens that you use also plays a factor. So when doing your research, because again, I could give examples, but again, it's very much dependent on what your church requires and what your needs, and that's again, take your time to research because the lens is so important. Because a lot of time people think, oh yeah, I've got a nice camera body, but you haven't got the lens to factor that in with, and having a good lens enhances the image quality of what you're doing. So again, with the Blackmagic cameras, again, we use a Panasonic 30-100 rated lens, has a great depth of field on there, allows you to, blur out the background, and it provides a great image quality. So just take the time to research if you're looking to purchase a camera, especially if you're purchasing a DSLR, because again, with the PTZ cameras, you don't need to worry about that because it has it all built in. But if you're looking to purchase a more traditional DSLR camera, film camera, some camcorders that allow detachable lenses, take the time to research. I think it's very key with what you're doing. So take the time to research because again, that will impact you in the longer run. Because if you can take the time to research and invest now, it will save you 2-3 years down the line.
What's the criteria for selecting a lens? Is it just maximum aperture?
It
Does that
depends on,
impact depth of field, for example?
I think it depends on what you're looking for, really. I think, again, if you're looking for something that has you want like a nice blur background or like depth of field, a lot of bokeh, but you're looking for something that has a low aperture. So like, again, something that's like below 3.5, like, so like the 30-100 lens that I have on on my personal Blackmagic at my church that has an f-stop of 2.8. So again, it's just depending on what you're looking for and also zoom capability. So again, if you only have the budget to be able to purchase one camera, you want to be able to look for something that has a long focal that is able to go super wide and also go super tight. So so those are kind of the things you factor in. Again, when lenses can get slightly the more expensive, you want something that has that both of them, they start to get more expensive. So it just really just depends on what you're looking for and what your church requires. Because again, without knowing and going looking inside and looking churches, it makes it very difficult to look into that. So yeah. Yeah.
I find it easier for a church that's starting out to get a PTZ camera.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you don't have to deal with all the
Exactly.
other requirements that a DSLR will have to deal with. And DSLR cameras tend to work out more expensive when you add all the other stuff to it than just getting a PTZ and hooking and putting it up on a wall.
Yeah, so that's fine. So yeah, but as I said, I recommend especially if you're starting out, look for the PTZ cameras. I think it's a great starting point. But again, if you're looking to enhance you already have cameras in place and you're looking to kind of level that up, head towards the Pocket and the Blackmagic Pocket cameras. Also a great brand to look into. So yeah, so video switches. So again, as you say, maybe you've already started out and you're looking for I see a hand. I see a hand. Del, you wanna
Yeah, no, just adding on to what the other guys have mentioned, especially when you're on a budget. One idea that I've got is that you maybe have two cameras, and if it's one that's closer, you can use certain phone cameras, which obviously don't necessarily have to have this greatest zoom capabilities, but modern cameras now have got decent photons, so they grab light quite well. So if you have two cameras, which normally you have to for interest, one of the cameras won't necessarily have to be that great in terms of its depth of field. It can be achieved close for your close camera. But all what you mentioned before, I think, is mainly you're talking about your main camera, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your camera rather than the B camera.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel that, in my experience as well, you can get away with, if the budget you've already got is for one 4K video, or the 6K if you're going for the cinema camera, you can actually use smaller cameras like that, and they do also come with like lens adaptations which allow you to do you know, the aspect ratio, like which is like widescreen, and that way you're able to be able to swoop and get more in your shot. You're able to pan and basically get more of an audience in, because sometimes when you want to give over that in the congregation feel, you need kind of like a wide screen, a wide lens, not necessarily one that's going to make you fisheye, but one that's going to make you feel like you're in the audience as well. And I think also there's this thing about paying attention as well, because when the camera is following the speaker, then it makes the person feel like they're on the front row. But lots of times I feel you're probably going to come across this at some point. You're going to talk about this anyway. If some people end up just widening the camera out so they don't have to chase their speaker, that then puts the actual audience in the back row. I don't know if you find that yourself.
Yeah, it's something that I'm going. You kind of got one of my points I'm going to talk about later, but
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Dr. Sophie, I see your hands up.
Yes, thank you. I just like to comment on something that Enroy said and something that Dale said. So with the PTZ cameras, what I found was we wanted to install those, but because it wasn't our church, we couldn't, because you'd have to get, so that's a consideration for those people who are renting churches. You can't install because you'd be installing something, you know, without, if you don't have permission for that. And the second thing that Dale said, so we have a Blackmagic, and we had, before that, when we just started out, we got a Sony. And then when we got the Blackmagic 4K, because that is a better picture quality, we found that when we tried to mix it, it was obvious. So we had to just stop, because when we switched, the picture, it was, when you look playback, it was just obvious that the second camera, the second picture, the image was from a different camera, an inferior camera. So that's another consideration about mixing cameras. So we've had to take the decision to just wait until we have enough money to have the same kind of camera, so it doesn't give a different look to our live stream. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that's something very much we should take it into consideration. I think take your time when you're investing in your equipment. I think a lot of the times we say, oh well, we may want 2 cameras, but sometimes it's better to start like quality over quantity is something I say a lot. Quality over quantity, because what your big ads and as of that Sophia said is, she said that, you know, and you start to mix cameras, you don't get that same image quality across the board. So it's about keeping that level of consistency with what you're offering, because again, it comes back to about professionalism and being able to show that, okay, we take our craft seriously. So again, I know that may not be difficult. Again, certain clients may not be able to do that, but it's a thing of you trying to say, like, maybe we say buy the 1 camera, save up, and then when we got the budget, let's invest in it. And it's taking that over time. So once you start building that up, it's that same consistent quality that you're doing across the board. Dale, you have your hand up as well?
Sorry, talking too much.
No,
This on the point that Sister Sophia just mentioned there, I found that same sort of thing as well when I was using like phones that could do 4K, could do really good quality, and then again, and alongside like the 4K, and the way around it was using a LUT, and phones can use LUTs as well. There is professional software on certain phones, which, like for instance, if you're using a phone, there isn't a BMD app. So the same people that made the 4K have made their own app, which allows you control of all the settings, including the color science as well. So you can match the color science camera to camera, and you can save the profiles. And one of them is that if you've got certain cameras that one of them's in high definition mode, another one is in a normal color, different color science, you will notice that difference as well. But some of the stuff that I've used, I've managed to now be able to get them to match. And that's one part of the production, especially when you're using more than 1 camera, because it is jarring, as Doc said, sorry, Sister Sophie said there, when you're going from one shot to another, but it is manageable. You don't have to all get, if you can't afford it, get as many 4Ks as you, if you can get as many 4Ks as you can, but if you can't, and especially sometimes you want some, like someone said before, you want some of the smaller cameras, which are going to be nearer to people, to be the size of a phone, because it's less intimidating than the big Blackmagic. Yeah, so you can use those ones that are in those discrete places. Can be a phone, can be like the size of a OBSBot, which is a PTZ, and that also you can actually dial in the same color science. They can take what they call LUTs, which will actually match the science. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. No problem. As I said, yeah, some great points there, though. Anyway, can I go to Charles first, and I'll come to you, Engage. So, Charles, I see your hands up. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Right. Sorry. The points that have been raised are very good, but I'm just looking at it from as someone I've been in the audiovisual department for going over 10 years, and where my concern is, I think some of the points mentioned is, I think maybe for more realistic perspective, we would have to talk about maybe the streaming speed, because not everyone has got the same broadband speed. Some people are rural based, so they're not exactly located very close. So, for example, if you're broadcasting 4K, can you, for example, what's the minimum bandwidth you're going to be looking at with regards to broadband? And also, the other thing I was going to mention with regards to phones is that, for example, if your Wi-Fi connection, if your church is as large as, for example, our church, sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't reach the router that you're using for you to be able to do that. And if you want, for example, a close-up, and then the other thing is if somebody's going to be moving, I think you need extra technology. For example, you call a dimmer or something that maintains the screen steady, doesn't move around when you are watching, stuff like that. So maybe need clarification on exactly what the setup would. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. I probably will be able to answer the question now, because I think it's without looking at where your area is based and stuff like that, it's very difficult to answer the question. But what I can do is that if I'll after the meeting's done, I can get your email and then we can have a conversation where I can help you with that in more detail. If I'm just because of time, because we're coming to 11 o'clock, so 20 minutes left, I'm just gonna continue on with the presentation. And again, at the end, which if we have time for some more questions, we can go through that. So as kind of spoke about earlier in terms of image quality, and the cameras that we're using, again, maybe you're looking to invest in a video switcher. So now maybe, okay, currently you may be just using a single camera, but you aren't able to show any presentations or graphics on screens. Maybe you look to invest in a video switcher. A video switcher is basically a device that allows you to take various different inputs, take camera inputs, image inputs into its device, and then you send said program feed out into whatever streaming device you're using, and it allows you to send, and that's what it gets sent for the world to see. And this allows you to switch in between. So again, if you have multiple cameras, this is what you'll use to switch between. Now, there's very different models, but these are some of the ones that I recommend if you're looking to invest in a video switcher, to maybe that you're trying to go from the one camera setup to a 2-camera setup. So the A10 Mini Pro, the A10, this is a Blackmagic product. I highly recommend this. It's highly recommended product. Fairly inexpensive as well. And it's a great, if you're just starting out, you don't know what a video switcher is, and something that's overbearing. The A10 Mini Pro is a great device. It takes 4 inputs and has 1 program out, and then also allows you to take audio into the camera, because that's maybe something else that you may not be doing. Maybe you're using a separate device to take audio from, and this is and so again, this has it all built in. So rather than having to use one device for audio and another device for cameras, this has all in one device that sends everything into there and sends it all out. Again, the Mini Extreme ISO is a larger version of the Mini Pro. The reason why I recommend the ISO version, this has 8 inputs, but it also allows you to record each individual input locally. So this could be good if you're trying to repurpose your content. So again, maybe there's a certain section of the sermon that you wanted to go through, and you say, "Oh, this is really good, but I don't have nowhere to be stored." With the ISO, with the Extreme ISO, it allows you to record those programs internally, and then if you want to do any post-production on it to then repurpose those content, it allows you to do that rather than maybe having to record locally to a camera. So it's a great way to be able to do everything in-house. You have to worrying about different hard drives. So again, it's a great way to try to keep everything in-house. And also have the flexibility to be able to record locally and have that 8 camera input. Again, has the same features as the Mini Pro, just has the expanded quality of being able to record locally. So yeah, the Fieldworld Live Pro L1 multi-camera. So this is Fieldworld program that this takes 4 camera inputs, again similar to the A10 Mini Pro, and more kind of, if you don't have the budget to stretch for A10 Mini Pro, this is a fairly inexpensive option. Very good, again similar to the A10 Mini Pro in principle. And Elgato Stream Deck. So this one is very different. So with the Stream Deck, say for example, if you you have a hardware switcher, so rather than, while the first 3 are maybe hardware switcher where you can take it portable, you maybe have a built-in one like the A10 Production Studio or the Television Studio HD, which is a built-in rack version. So maybe you can't afford to get a hardware switcher itself, and Elgato Stream Deck is a very good device to be able to do video switching on. And with the Elgato Stream Deck, it allows you to program inputs on there. And again, rather than you having to buy a big hardware switcher, you can buy this small device that allows you to switch between the cameras. And it also has expanded capability because, again, if you use software like Pro Presenter and very different, this is an all-in-one device that allows you to program these different buttons to do different functionalities. And I think it's a great way to be able to do, if trying to do video switching from there. Then the final one I'll recommend is the YOLO Box Pro. The YOLO Box Pro is a all-in-one touchscreen device, and it has its own internet, has its own. So again, it's for people that may not be able to, you know, have maybe in a rural place. It has its own built-in internet that allows you to stream, and again, it takes in camera inputs and video switch, and it allows you to video screen via using a touchscreen. So again, maybe you are struggling for some. Again, internet isn't somewhere strong that your place where you doesn't have strong internet. You maybe somewhere rural, you're on the go. The YOLO Box Pro is a very good device for that. And I think, again, fairly, I can't remember the price off the top of my head, but it's, again, great little devices. You're looking for something that's portable, small, doesn't take up too much space, and you can take on the go. Again, if you are church that, again, you're renting a building, so you can't keep your equipment there. So camera angles. So as mentioned earlier about Dell mentioned about, sometimes you might want to keep your camera on the wide. This is made having different camera angles allows you to immerse the offering that you have, because again, if you're watching at home, you don't want to be seeing a standard wide shot for the whole service. So again, being able to understand different camera shots and different camera angles allows you to enhance your live stream offering. So again, maybe example, you got a wide shot. Is again your standard view stage. You got your full body shot, which is again establishing shot to help the person of interest, and it may include one more the person. So again, maybe it's praise and worship is happening. So again, having a full shot that allows you to capture the whole praise team. Then you have your mid shot. So again, tend to be from the waist up, and usually upper body. So then again, this is maybe when somebody's presenting from the front, and again when they're speaking. So again, it starts too close in the audience face. But again, it's still close enough that people are able to establish, okay, this person's talking to you. Then you have your medium close-up, which is kind of more, again, chest up again, which is a lot more tighter. And then you got your close-ups. So again, these are just some of the many different camera angles. Because again, you start talking about panning and tilting up and down. But think about the camera angles that you are using. Because again, the different camera angles offer different perspective. Because again, maybe this preach is getting to an important point is to doing this appeal. And you want to probably get like a mid shot or a close-up shot from speaking to again emphasize his points, and obviously and allow it to establish the final point that he's making. So be intentional about the stuff that your camera angles that you're using moving forward. So again, this is just a visual representation of what these camera angles may look like. So again, you got an extreme close-up, which is all the way in, close-up, which is mainly a headshot. And then you got your medium close-up, which is medium chest up. Then you got your mid shot, which is waist up. Cowboy shot or full body shot is what they like to call it, or medium full, and then your full shot. So audio. So when it comes to audio, I think one of the things I would recommend churches do if they have the capability to do this is to create a dedicated broadcast feed. So what a dedicated broadcast feed allows to do is allow high quality audio and audio consistency, reliability, and again back to that professional production. Now, what you may be currently doing at the moment is maybe you're just taking your main left and right feed that you use for your in-house church, for use in-house in the congregation, and then just giving that for the live stream as well. If you have the capability to do that, then then try and find a way to be able to take a dedicated broadcast feed to your live stream audience. It just allows you to be able to really hone in on that live stream experience for the viewers at home. So that again, you're taking into consideration because what may sound okay in the congregation may not also sound great within on the live stream. So again, taking into consideration, taking the time to again embrace that full live stream experience. So I'll give an example of how this works out in practicality. Just out of curiosity, if anyone could put down who has an X32 at their local churches. If you could just do by the raising of your hand or just say yes. See one, see a couple, yep. So quite a few you have an X30. Quite a few you have an X32. Yep. Okay. So I'll use this example with an X32. Again, it may be different to wherever mixer you're using. And again, if that's something that you may need help with, again, we can have a conversation later. Email me and we can talk about that after. But I'll use the example of the X32. So the X32 allows you to has 12 outputs. Now, depending on what you're using your outputs for, if maybe say you have an output or two free, you could then use that as your dedicated broadcast feed. So how it would work is that, say, for example, if you use bus number one is that, okay, I'm not using that for anything. If you go into your routing section on your X32 desk, you see that you can route output one, mix bus one, and set it to post fader. What that allows you then from there, you click send on faders at the top, press select on the fade on the mix bus one channel, press send on faders. This then allows you to send a separate feed that's independent of what's going on in-house to the live stream audience. And then from the output at the back of your desk, whether you use XLRs into whatever you're sending your audio to, or XLR to jacks, you then take those feeds out from the mixbus channel into your audio desk, and then again it allows you to independently send a stream audio feed that is separate from in-house, and it allows you to again. So again, if say say for example the drums are too loud in the mix, if you have drums at your church, or the keyboards maybe too quiet, right? But it allows you to be independently control that, so that again it doesn't affect what's going on in-house in the congregation, and it also allows the people in the audience to have that same holistic experience. Another great way to enhance your live stream is ambience mics. I'm a big advocate for ambient mics. I think ambient mics are very, very important because I think it allows the people at home to hear what's going on inside the church, not just on the mics, but also hear the congregation. It creates that sense of inclusivity. I have a friend that works in the church in America, and they have one of the things that he said to me was that the reason they use ambient mics is, again, it allows, again, say for example, the congregation is singing the chorus and the praise team are singing, the congregation singing by themselves. It allows you, the congregation at home, to be able to say, oh yeah, and give that whole sonic experience that they may not get. Because again, if you're just hearing this praise team singers or the band or just the sermon by itself, you don't get to really engage, don't have that same engagement that you may do. And again, I think it offers a great quality worship experience overall. And again, ambience mics can be, you could just use a standard wide mic, for example, if you aren't able to get like dedicated, they're called condenser mics. So again, so you could just use a standard ambient mic, and again, that's still, again, it may not be as well, but it still offers that something to the audience at home. And when that's balancing the overall mix of what you're doing, I think it creates a great experience for the viewers at home. And then engagement, I think to kind of round up, I wanted to focus on engagement. Now, again, as I said at the start of the presentation, a lot of time we may just press start on a live stream and then we just leave it at that. Maybe just check on up and make sure it's all okay. But I think as the media as well, I feel like we and AV leaders, I think we need to pay more attention to how we engage with our online audience at home. So again, if you're streaming on some platforms like YouTube Live, Facebook Live, it allows you, they offer real-time chats and comment section. So again, having someone that's dedicated to typing in the chat, answering questions, engaging with people again, so that the people at home don't feel like they're watching them by themselves. That, okay, yeah, I'm actually paying attention to what's going on at home. These guys are actually listening to what we're saying. Again, another example is interacting live polls and surveys within your services. So again, maybe you in the YouTube chat, you send a link to the presentation, say, what's your opinion on X, Y, and topic? Or, okay, maybe you're doing a Sabbath school discussion because, again, maybe they can't join in class, but again, maybe you probably say, what do you think of that question? So, again, just giving people options to be able to engage and again, be able to feel that they're part of the overall service. Something that you could do as well is also create virtual fellowship rooms after. So again, maybe your service is done if you use a platform like Zoom, even if it's just for half an hour. Again, create a virtual space where people can come together and talk about how the service went, what their opinions on was it, discuss kind of what they thought of the sermon, and just have a opportunity just to be able to discuss something after the service is done. So again, kind of that aftercare, as I like to call it. While we doing as media leaders as the aftercare, because once Sabbath is done, we should be, are we just switching off, switch off the system and going home? It's about, no, let's take the time to be able to engage with the audience at home and offer something and offer some offerings for them. Again, that continuing on, dedicated, maybe having a dedicated online offering. So I know our local church, some churches are starting to implement that, having their own dedicated online Sabbath school. So maybe that's just one person sitting at home, doing it in a separate venue, and we remote bring them in virtually, and they do online Sabbath school online for the people online. Because again, if a lot of churches tend to have classes, it means that visually engaging is not good to people watching at home, and they can't really hear what's going on because they're having group discussions. So again, having an online Sabbath school is a way to be able to enhance your church offering, because again, you're giving that time and pain. So again, you're giving them the opportunity to have their say and be able to discuss what's going on. Because again, people at home, they may Monday to Friday, they may not be able to come to church on the Sabbath, and they may want to talk about a lesson study, and they don't have the opportunity to do so. This is a great way as media leaders and AV leaders that we can do that. Again, dedicated announcement section. Maybe again, sometimes your service is running over. Maybe you pre-record your announcements. So maybe it's like on a Friday evening, you could on the phone just pre-record your announcements. And so again, that the online thing ensure that they're also kept up to date with what's going on at the local church. Use of graphical content. I'll show some examples of that in a bit. But again, what sort of graphical content are you using? So again, paying attention to the type of posts that are you making posts. So again, when it's time for offering, again, how can people at home participate in offering? Are lower first on the screen. So again, maybe currently you may be, having to put the slide on the screen, or you're not able to do that at all. Maybe it's again trying to find ways to be able to show these stuff on the screen so people can then join in at home, and maybe example in praise or worship, or they want to see the Bible text on the screen. Maybe you have a virtual host 15 minutes before your service start. Again, allowing somebody to, talk to the audience just before you go live. These are just some, just some examples of many things that we could go through. But again, this is maybe where, depending on where you are in your live stream journey, this is maybe some of the things you can maybe start implementing into it. Again, the live streaming software that you use as well. So again, these are just some examples of what you use. Most people I know use OBS Studio. You got stuff like XLitter Broadcast, Wirecast, vMix. vMix is a great software. The only downside to that is it's Windows only, but vMix is a great software. I personally use that myself, and it's a great software to be able to, because it has everything integrated in there. It allows you to do custom lower first, because again, maybe you don't have the piece of equipment to be able to do lower first. You can create your custom lower first within vMix itself. Again, and platforms like Restream, which is a software based one. So again, start looking into how you can implement these different pieces of software into your life. Because again, it allows you to expand what you can offer offer on the live stream for your audiences. So examples are some good live streams, and these aren't necessarily good examples of live streams, just good examples of applications that are being done in there. So Oakwood University Church, I love watching them on the Sabbath. And they example of doing a online Sabbath school is that they do their Reset online Sabbath school, where they have a dedicated studio space. Now again, that may not be possible with most churches, but again, even if you could just do it from your home, again, we just bring it remotely over the phone, you do it in your office or somewhere in your house. Again, offering an online Sabbath school experience to those at home. And again, implementing graphics, QR codes, again, news bulletins, or the bulletins so people can follow the service at home. And then lower fares as well. So visit Red Rocks Church in America, again, implementing lower fares into their live streams. If I go again, and then again, Milton Keynes Church then down in the SEC, again, for the offering, still got the lower fare, but again, they have the graphics on screen to be able to showcase, okay, people want to pay from home, they can pay from home. these are just some examples from camp meeting that at a department that we did. So we had to implement the BSL translator within our live stream. So what we did was we created a overlay that allowed us to put the image on one side and the BSL translator on the other side. Again, this is more if you have the capability to do that, and again, not every church is going to able to do that, but I just want to show you examples of how you can read how these sort of things can really enhance the offering that we can do. Because again, custom logo affairs, again, information on the screen, the logo for the conference, those sort of things that allow us to enhance our offering for the wider audience. I want to kind of round out with these 3 points: accessibility, inclusivity, engagement and outreach, and adaptability to change. I think those are the key takeaways I want you to take away from here. Access to inclusivity, engagement and outreach, and adaptability to the changing times. I think those 3 key takeaways, I think if you could take these away from the presentation today, I think will allow you to really enhance your live stream offerings to your local church members. And finally, this media is a ministry, not just a service. Pastor Joel kind of emphasized that at the start. We as departments, as AV leaders, we are a ministry. And I really want us to remember that when we could go on to do the work that we do. So the same way that personal ministries will take the time to put in effort into what they're doing, let's as AV leaders do the same. So thank you. And then if you have any questions, I see 2 hands. So Emma, I know your hand's been up for a while, so I'll go to you, and then I'll go to James. And then James.
Oh, yes, Caleb. Sorry. Long wait there. I like to just go over 3 things of what being said early on. I understand that the doctor made a comment about PTZ being hanging up on the wall. They can go on stands.
Yeah.
The matter of the different quality of the cameras, 4K and such like, I was under the impression that the A10 Mini has a scaler. So could it be that those 2 speakers were referring to the higher Black Magic devices? I don't know, but I know that it's HD. All the A10 Mini equipments all scale out, because I've got 3 different cameras and they're all going out at HD because of the scalers integrated into the A10. The other point too is that the Stream Deck is a control service, not exactly a video switcher.
It has the capability to use so.
Yeah.
Yes,
And the last thing, my church, as well as a few other smaller churches, can't afford an X32, and it's not so much because of money, but because of space. We're currently using an XR18, which is more like a shoebox, and I know it's got 6 outputs instead of the 12 that the X32 has, but we manage, and that's a solution for a small church to consider. Thanks, Caleb.
Exactly.
Great presentation.
And just to kind of tag on to the XA again, you have the ability to do outputs as well. So again, you can still do the dedicated broadcast stream with the XA as an example, because again, same ecosystem, same family. So yeah, just for a caveat on that. James, I saw your hands up. Yeah.
Hello. Yes. Thanks for the presentation. It's been really good. It's mainly on content that I want to touch on. Obviously, a lot of us are busy in the week. We try our best to implement equipment, run obviously the Sabbath from the church. It's very hard to get people to create content. Is the stuff in the conference? Is there videos, content that we can use?
Absolutely. So Pastor Joe will kind of tally on with some more information regarding that in the last presentation, but I will kind of say that there is stuff in place to be able to help the conference with that. But Pastor Joe will give you some more information regarding that in the last presentation.
Right. That's great. Thanks very much.
No problem. And then Edmund.
Hi, Caleb. I have 2 questions. The first is about the GDPR rules. And how you go about consenting people for that, because I realize my church doesn't really do that yet, and I want to get to recording the congregation as well, and I'm kind of worried that I'd have to get everyone to fill out forms and have posters everywhere to make everyone aware.
Okay. I know Pastor Jordan here. Pastor Joe, could you kind of, yeah, could you know a bit more about that than I do? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Good morning, everybody. Ed, great question. GDPR, absolutely. So there's a couple of things to consider. You've got to make give general awareness to the public that this has taken place, and then you need additional requirements or additional permissions from vulnerable individuals, vulnerable adults or children, right? So there's two layers to it. The first layer is that you're in a your church is considered a public space where anybody can come into it, right? If we are live streaming or if we're just taking photos, we have to ensure and take reasonable steps to inform people that we are streaming or taking photos. What that can look like is an announcement at the beginning of your service. You can put posters in your church in the appropriate places. Your greeters at the entrance can inform people, members of the public, as they're coming into the place, etc. So there's different ways of doing this. And what is good practice is to have designated areas within your church that are set aside where you won't be streaming, you won't be taking any videos or photos of people. So that lets those who maybe are at risk or vulnerable, they are, for whatever reasons, they're in care, they are a refugee or whatever, for legal reasons, they can sit in this designated area and have that assurance that there won't be any photos or videos taken of them during the service. Because you are streaming your service, there is reasonable expectation that were somebody to go onto the stage, that they may be included in a video. So if they do not want to be, they do not go onto the stage, right? So that's the general kind of permissions that you have to get from the members of the public. And when I say members of the public, I include us as Adventists in that. Even though it's our church, we're still considered members of the public. Then there's another level, and that's for, you know, if you're taking photos at Pathfinder events of children, of minors, we would need to get permissions of from their parents and that sort of thing. Now, I recognize time is against us, but that's kind of just maybe a top level answer to your question.
Okay, thank you. And just a second, if we have time for that, the second question. So I've started using lower thirds on the A10, and I was struggling because when you get the lyrics and, you know, you take all the black out, we usually have the lyrics in a big paragraph in the center. I was struggling to get that. We have one solution, but it's kind of awkward to have all the lyrics in 2 lines, but that would also go to our projector in church. So I wanted to ask if you guys use multiple outputs in Pro Presenter 7, or if there's a way to sort that out.
There is, but I tend to do the 2 lines. That would be my, like, I know it's difficult, but like that's the 2 lines what I would recommend to do. Just because again, in order for the only way we would do it again, you'd have to like us have a second dedicated Pro Presenter account. So it gets a bit technical. But
Just on that, you can put obviously you put an output out to the screens for the words. You can do picture in picture, which we implement in our church.
Yeah. Which is
picture in picture.
Yeah.
So set up a new look.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even setting up a new look, because again, yeah, I'll message you, Edmund, because I can help you out with that. That's fine. And then Pastor Ruben will be the last question, and we have to kind of wrap up, and then yeah. So Pastor Ruben. Pastor Ruben,
I'm there. Thank you so much for your nice presentation. In fact, I've really learned a lot from your script. My question is, currently, social media is so powerful, and it's one of the tools we are using to spread the word of God. And individuals like pastors, like elders, like a layman, will also set up his phone to do online streaming to spread the word of God. As well as he's presented the church, I think the image of the church must be also to be looked at, so that he or she can put the best out there. So can you briefly can you briefly give us a little education about personal online streaming tool? Some of the tools we must use, some of the gadgets we must get during our streaming, if possible. Thank you, sir.
Because of time, probably would go with that. But what I'll do, as I said, if you do want to ask me more questions, and again, something I was gonna say, I forgot to say in my presentation, is that if you do want help with setting up your live stream, contact me. My email's on the screen. The presentation will be recorded. Contact me because I'm able to. We can arrange a day where I could come to your local churches and actually sit down or have meetings with you and kind of help you go through your setups so that you can fine tune it. Because again, what I may have said today may be fairly generic in nature. But again, each church has their own specific needs and requirements. So it's the best way for me to do is that contact me and then let's arrange a meeting where I can sit down and help you guys. So Pastor, if you email me, and then I can have this conversation and we can have this conversation and take it from there.
Brother Caleb.
Hello.
Is there a forum that's going to be built after this where we can troubleshoot ideas back and forth?
Not necessarily,
I was thinking the same thing too.
But it's something that we can definitely look into for you. Yeah, that's fine. If that's something that people are interested in, I can definitely look into and see if we can get some sort of forum created that we can. Yeah, so leave it with me. I'll see what I can do and get working on that. But thank you everybody for coming to the meeting.
Put your email out there. If you can put the email at the
I'll
chat.
I'll put my email in the chat now, and then you can again email me anytime, and then yeah, so that could be fine. But we are resuming at 1:30, so again everybody can leave the breakout room and then go head into the main room and obviously head to the second presentation at 1:30. So thank you very much.
That's Brother Ruben. Excellent.
Thanks for the